I'm hoping that the people out there in this world, you guys, hi, that people feel seen. People of all age. I hope that people just really feel the love that was kind of poured into this film for everyone.
These hallways are murder.
I'm Ellie Chu.
Yes, I know.
Oh my gosh, here we are. Leah Lewis, star of The Half of It. Just launched
Thank
190
you.
countries. How are you feeling?
I'm so overwhelmed in like the most positive ways possible. I mean, to have this thing that we created a year ago and then to see the way that the world is soaking it in and taking it as their own is just, it's incredible. It's like, it's honestly been like something I've dreamed of since I was a little kid. So this is really dope.
This would have been like oxygen to me when I was growing up. When I was in high school, I grew up also, child of immigrants, the only person born in the United States in my whole family. Are you feeling that from the fans? Are you feeling the response to seeing themselves sort of reflected in the realness of your Ellie Chu?
Just reading some of the comments and just hearing their personal stories these last couple of days, that is exactly why stories like this are important. And even though I was not from a first generation immigrant family, I was adopted from Shanghai, China, and every single person has a different story to tell.
We're still in the game.
Yep. We are. So, yay.
I'm so curious about your approach to this role because now you've been in this business for a long time. Like how old were you when you first realized like, I want to be a performer?
I just from a very early age really loved the world of Disney, which housed so many of our favorites that have to do with singing and dancing and just soaked all of that up as a kid. And that was something that my parents saw resonated with me very, very early on. I mean, I was even like sitting them down in the living room being like, okay, like you guys are going to watch me perform this scene from Disney.
Well, talk to me a little bit about that. I think there are a lot of kids who set up the dining room chairs and do a performance for their parents. There are very few people that take that and then they translate that into a career, whether it's in singing, acting, dancing, whatnot. Was your family supportive of you taking it beyond the dining room out into the world and making it your life's work? Because we all know it takes a tremendous amount of hard work.
It takes a village. Oh my gosh. And I say
what does that mean? Who is your village? What does that look like?
My village is Mom. Her name is Lorraine, and she is from New York.
Yay,
my
Lorraine.
father, yay, Lorraine. My father, Fred, who is from Florida, and my little sister. So just these people, including my grandma, who recently passed a couple years ago. Not recently, but she passed a couple years ago. They have just been the pillars of anything that has been possible for me in my life. It's because of their support that I continue doing these things. And without that love, I don't know what I'd be doing.
$50, one letter. After that, you're on your own.
Yes.
Talk me through your feelings when you first read the script. What was it like reading for the role, meeting Alice, and then how did you become Ellie?
A lot of other projects I had gone out for were not right for me. So I was just I was feeling it. And when I read this really specific world that Alice painted around this character who is very shy and introverted, it was interesting seeing that person be the main character of something. Yeah. And also just the fresh take Alice had on introducing this character, finding her sexuality through this as well. Introducing another girl into the equation was something I had never, ever seen before. And especially for someone who is Asian. I'm like, oh, Alice kind of got to know me and my experiences, and we were able to share our experiences with each other. And then she kind of explained to me that a lot of what I naturally am, funny enough, kind of goes totally against what Ellie is. But she was able to really help me find those parts of myself that existed naturally that I, as Leah, hadn't even really looked at before, and really just being able to hone into that for myself.
Talk to me about your singing. It's obviously a part of Ellie's journey as well, but it feels like it's a really big part of who you are.
It's kind of like another language for me. I love music. Part of what I love about Ellie Chu is she has this musical backbone as well. And I totally connected with that. I'm actually not as good a guitar player as Ellie. I had to learn how to fingerpick properly for that. So...
The chemistry was so great between the three main characters. So what was it like to meet Daniel? What was it like to meet Alexis? How did you get that rapport going?
That was all Alice, putting us in these intimate positions where we would really have to get to know each other. she would set us up in these exercises. I mean, one of them was just, looking at each other and kind of observing what we see on each other's faces and saying that out loud. And I remember like the first time doing that being like, this is so weird and uncomfortable. And just a 180 of that by the end of the film. And even if Alexis and I didn't end up booking the project, I feel like we would have gone on to be friends because we just had, it was really cool. It was definitely a magical experience.
Do you remember what scene you did in that opening casting?
Yes.
Whoa.
You started in the hospital scene?
Yes.
Is that long underwear?
Yes.
We started with the hot spring scene.
Okay.
Oh, we dove in, Lisa. And then we also did the departure scene at the very end when Ellie says goodbye to Aster.
No. What does she say to her? She doesn't just say goodbye. She says...
I'll see you in a couple years.
It's crazy. I'm like, wow, I feel like this was just like the friendship film. Like, we just got to make friends on this. Also, too, like on the weekends, Daniel, I, and Alexis were just spending oodles of time together.
What were y'all doing on the weekends?
He was the only one with a car, so we would like beg him to take us to the mini mall and go to Target. We used to call him Dad. We're like, Dad, like please take us to Panera.
Big hello and love to Brazil. There are so many questions and so many fans in Brazil.
Brazil, we love you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of them I'm really curious about, who are some of the actors that you love, that you've looked up to, that have sort of inspired you to do what it is that you're doing?
Just an example, I've been watching Joey King for like the longest time. Yeah. And Alexis actually has a very, very special obsession along with me with Joey King. But seeing actors like that who kind of also get to portray roles that are beautiful, but also a little more gritty, I really gravitate to that kind of acting style as well. Watching Jennifer Lawrence and Saoirse Ronan, just these very grounded leading ladies.
But the whole notion of like the boldness and the braveness to occupy a character, I would count you among those folks being able to occupy something very different from your natural state. Yeah.
I love hearing that. I just I love Ellie Chu.
Another question coming out of our friends in Brazil. Everyone is so curious about you speaking Chinese.
你打电话给电力公司了吗?
Sounds flawless.
So I don't naturally speak Mandarin, but I did have to learn for this film. And with the loving guidance and patience of Alice Wu and a Mandarin coach, after months of plugging away at this, I was able to deliver the few lines that Ellie does have with her father.
明天我来的.
To speak another language, and also one that is from my national heritage, it's huge. So I was like, I really want to get this right and make sure that everyone knows what I'm saying, and that I'm not saying like bird eats worm outside. Something completely different than what I need to be saying.
No, it was wonderful. And what was it like working in that relationship, the daughter-father relationship, which is it's so sublime and heartbreaking, where you see the daughter having to occupy more of the adult role as her father is really grappling with his own grief.
Well, first of all, I love that you have noticed this part, because I think the code switch is very important when it comes to shedding some light on what the immigrant experience is like, having to juggle 2 different languages and have 2 different cultures, maybe outside and then at home as well. And seeing Ellie kind of take on this adult role in the family really kind of led to Alice helping me understand what kind of position my father's character is in. And I think that's such an important aspect of this movie, the family layer, because you see not just Ellie going through this isolated experience, but you see Paul kind of disappearing into the sidelines of his family. And you see Aster very much so in her family, but like completely not understood.
Hey!
So what do you wish for Ellie? She gets on the train, she's heading out. What do you wish for her?
I wish that Ellie, first of all, has a very smooth transition into college. I hope that she moves all her stuff in and she feels comfortable and can make everything feel like home. But I hope that she continues to foster that relationship with Paul as they navigate friendship. And I hope that she, speaking out of turn here, continues to keep in touch with Aster and they build on that. I mean, both of them are at the very early stages of realizing they have feelings for each other, for a girl also. So I would just love to see how they navigate through that.
That is awesome. It's a real blast.